Surat Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Krishna, good morning. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, chapter 9, starting chapter 9, texts 1 to 3. The title of the chapter is Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. So, before we start, I wanted to just refer to one verse, the previous. First, Parikshit Maharaj, if you remember from yesterday's class, Parikshit Maharaj is glorifying, he begins by glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam in the process of hearing. But then he starts asking questions. And today's verses is answering his first question. And so let's just look at that first question, which is text 7 from the previous. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental spirit soul is different from the material body. Does he acquire the body accidentally or by some cause? Will you kindly explain this, for it is known to you? So today, start with the Sanskrit. Text 1. Interestingly, I have an excerpt from Prabhupada actually speaking on this verse in 1972. We'll hear that a little bit later, but very interesting. He arrived in Tokyo in 72, April time, and he spoke on this verse like 3 or 4 days in a row. Sometimes it was just this verse, and sometimes it was this verse and a couple others. But he would go back. He would always start with this verse again, and multiple times he said, "This is a very important verse," and it was so important that he really wanted the devotees to learn it. There's like, if you have access to the unedited versions of Prabhupada's lectures, he spent like 40 minutes just chanting the verse with the devotees. He felt that this verse was very important. So we're not going to spend 40 minutes. That's all we have actually in the whole class. So, but let's try to imbibe this a little bit. Shri Sukhu Vacha Atmamayamrite Rajan Parasyanu Bhavatmana Nagate Tarta Sambhanda Swapna Drashturivanjasa Shri Sukhuvacha Atmamayamrite Rajan Parasyanu Bhavatmana Nagate Tarta Sambhanda Swapna Drashturivanjasa Shri Sukhuvacha Atmamayam Rajan Parasyanu Bhavatmana Nagate Tarta Sambhanda Swapna Drashturivanjasa
Atmamayamrite rajan
Atmamayamrite rajan
Syanubhavatmanaha
Parasyanubhavatmanaha
Nagrate Takta Sambandha
Nagate Tata Sambandha
Nadrashturibhadyasa
Swapna Drashturi Vanjasa. Any Prabhus? Sri Sukuvacha Atmamayamrite rajan Parasyanubhavatmanaha Nagate Tata Sambandha Swapna Drashturi Vanjasa. Sri Sukuvacha Atmamayamrite rajan Parasyanubhavatmanaha Nagate Tata Sambandha Swapna Drashturi Vanjasa. Shri Sukuvacha Atmamayamrite rajan Parasyanubhavatmanaha Nagate Tata Sambandha Swapna Drashturi Vanjasa.
Quick question. In that 40 minutes that Prabhupada had them going over this verse, did he correct them about also the Sri Sukha Vacha, making sure that that was also chanted?
That was part of it. Yeah, he
Yes.
never corrected, but he did correct every. It's quite a very charming little excerpt where and he's going through it, and somebody would say, of course I'm no Sanskrit pronunciator either, but they would say something, and then he'd stop and he'd correct them, and then go on, and then actually after about a while, after about 20 minutes or so, somebody would say something right, and probably say, "Very good," and then you could see that then there was this competition all of a sudden. Everybody wanted Prabhupada to say "very good" to them, so the next person in line, he started singing. He started saying it, and he thought he said it very well, it seemed. And then he didn't get a very good. So he said the line again, and he said it 3 times, waiting for Prabhupada to say very good, but it didn't come. Sometimes Prabhupada gives the example, sometimes the spiritual master is like a stream, and sometimes the water is flowing, sometimes it is not. Okay, do the word for word. We can all do together as normal. Shri Sukuvacha, Shri Sukadeva Goswami said, Atma, the Supreme Personality of God, Mayam, energy, Rite, without, Rajan, Ogi, Parasya, of the pure spirits, purely conscious, Gati, so Artha, meaning, Sambandha, relation with material body, Swapna, dream, Drashu, of the seer, Eva, like, Anjasa, completely. Sri Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, unless one is influenced by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no meaning to the relationship of the pure soul in pure consciousness with the material body. That relationship is just like a dreamer's seeing his own body working. Report. We have 3 verses, and they're quite long purports. I'm only going to read the first paragraph of this purport, and then we'll go on with the class. Maharaj Parikshit's question as to how a living entity began his material life, although he is apart from the material body and mind, is perfectly answered. So we'll always have questions on this. That because this is in some years or in some pockets, this has become a hot topic of, well, where did we fall from, or how did we fall, and this and that. But here Prabhupada is saying this is the perfect answer. The spirit soul is distinct from the material conception of his life, but he is absorbed in such a material conception because of being influenced by the external energy of the Lord called Atma Maya. This has already been explained in the first canto in connection with Vyasadev's realization of the Supreme Lord and his eternal energy. The external energy is controlled by the Lord, and the living entities are controlled by the external energy, by the will of the Lord. Therefore, although the living entity is purely conscious in his pure state, he is subordinate to the will of the Lord in being influenced by the external energy of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita 15:15, also the same thing is confirmed. The Lord is present within the heart of every living entity, and all the living entities' consciousness and forgetfulness are influenced by the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Svayam Bhaktam Jagati Swapam Vanchakalpatru Kripa Sindhu Cha Paditanam Bhavani Yo Vaishnavi. Namaste. And we'll just, I'll read the translations to the next two verses. They're connected. So the first answer, or the first part of the answer, is that actually there is no meaning of a relationship when we say, oh, how did we become attached to the body, or there is no meaning to this. He's answering. When one is in pure consciousness, so there's a qualifier there. When we're in pure consciousness, or the pure spirit soul, there is no connection to the material body. The illusioned living entity appears in so many forms offered by the external energy of the Lord. While enjoying in the modes of material nature, the encaged living entity misconceives, thinking in terms of I and mine. This concept is repeated throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. This concept of I and mine is like the foundation of our troubles, or our misconceptions, or our mistake. And then finally, text 3, interlude of pictures. Okay. As soon as the living entity becomes situated in this constitutional glory and begins to enjoy the transcendence beyond time and material energy, he at once gives up the two misconceptions of life, I and mine, and thus becomes fully manifested as the pure self. So this answer by Shukadev Goswami, and Prabhupada also, he really emphasizes this in these classes he was giving in Tokyo, and certainly in these purports, quite long and extensive purports. If you have some time, please take some time to study them. But this concept of this identification, as soon as we identify with the body, then these two mistakes happen. That this body, this is me, that mistake is the first, and then everything in relation to the body is mine. Or how can I get more mineness to this body? How can I get more and more? A group of friends over the weekend, we sang a song about Bhaktivinoda Thakur that was like this never-ending desires can happen when one is in this conception of I and mind. It never ends. That, oh, I want this and I want that, and then, oh, if I could be, the leader of a community, or if I can be the leader of the world, or maybe I can be Lord Brahma, and then if I'm Lord Brahma, maybe then I can be Lord Shiva, and it just goes on and on. The conception, the more we identify with the body and those conceptions of I and mind, the more and more we'll continue down that path of wanting more and more of those things that are mine. And so I wanted to actually, because time is always limited, I wanted to jump right into an excerpt, two little excerpts from Srila Prabhupada speaking on this particular verse and on this particular point of, he says that this is the real problem, that when we think we are I and mind, it is just like a dream. So he's speaking about this, and he gives some wonderful examples. And usually when I play excerpts, I'll ask you after, it should be the one called The Tiger. Dreaming of Tiger, yeah. Dreaming of Tiger. Usually I'll ask after, but I want you to actually pay close attention, and then I want you to share what you have heard from Prabhupada. That's not it. I wish I could do it so nice as that. That was beautiful. There we go. Yeah, and if we go full screen. Is that as big as we can go? Oh, no, that's too big. Okay, that's, hopefully you'll be able to read it. The recording is, I will say it is not one of the better recordings of Prabhupada, but I think it'll be good if we can follow along. Just want to make sure the levels are high enough. So yeah, please listen carefully and then share what you are hearing. What struck you?
This illusory energy develops when we forget to in other words, these illusory identification uh, of me with the body is simply due to my forget. We wanted to forget, we wanted to uh, give up Krishna and wanted to enjoy this material world. Therefore, Krishna is giving us, just like when you play some part in a drama, if you feel that I am king, then stop with that. And if you feel that I am Karanda, then you cannot play. Right? It is not feeling much. You are playing the part of a king, then you must have the same courage that I am king. You have to forget that you are Karanda. Then your part will be very nice. Play. People will appreciate. But if you say simultaneously that I am Karanda, I am playing the part of the king, very difficult. So, because we wanted to play the part of Krishna, enjoy. Krishna is giving us chance, we feel like I am Krishna, I am God. All these aspects, those who are feeling like that, I am Master, I am King, I am Krishna, I am God. They are all simply in that feeling only. And this feeling is created like this. Unlike you want to play the part of a king, I shall train you in such a way that the director name, dramatic director name, he creates a feeling. He direction is nothing but how to speak. Sometimes we play in our younger age, but Chaitanya Lila, I introduced. And one big director, Amitabh Bose, was just my grandfather. He was one of the, just like in England, Shakespeare and all that, big dramatic, well-known person. This Amitabh Bose and Elizabeth Bose, they introduced him in. So we called him to give us direction. He was giving us direction. And repeatedly, he was telling that it feel like that, especially to me, feel like that. So actually, when he played according to his system, the audience are all crying. And he could not understand how they cried. He could not understand. On the stage, when he played, it was so perfect. The all audience are crying actually. So they're hearing over there. The whole thing is artificial. But the effect, the audience becomes so bad. So similarly, we are actually nothing to do with business, that was. But we have been trained by the illusory energy in such a way that we are thinking, India and America, I am this and that and Brahmin and so I have to do this, what I must be, all these simply. We have nothing to do with all this stuff. But it's still we are checking it, we'll see it. I have to do that, I have to I have this, I have that.
So, Brian, you have any comment? Anything strike? Yes.
That we're completely dependent on Christian in all regards. I mean, even for the, I'm thinking, I have my book here and I'm writing out what I'll be doing later today and blah, 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 and my plans, etc., like this. And all of that is just, I have no capacity for that, but Krishna is giving those things, and I identify with that such, and I have the feeling that, yes, I have plans to do so many things I will do today, etc. But that's all dependent on Krishna.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like the actor who plays a part. We are like the actor who plays a part, but then winds up believing that they're really that person. A method actor. So they enter into their part and they do it for months and months and months, but then they forget their original identity and think that they've become, the supervillain or the king Karandar, something like that. But we're actually on the outside looking in at a play.
Yeah, most of those guys end up dying of overdoses too. I was thinking that Krishna loves us so much, like he fulfills all our heart's desires, and that we should probably be wise about what we desire.
Other thoughts? Anyone on the side?
When the pandemic started, we made a little Christian lunch commercial on the campus. And I was just thinking when Prabhupada saying Ananta Vallabha was acting and he was trying to think of how it looks on the camera. And I was telling him, just pretend that you actually have food in your, because he had to pretend there was food in the takeout container. I was like, just pretend you're looking at food. And then he got into it. And I was thinking, well, Prabhupada was saying this, like, yeah, but then he, of course, as soon as we left campus, we knew the container was empty. But the fact that we get trained to think that we are a certain thing, and we, Prabhupada said, we take it so seriously. It's so silly because we take it so seriously. We have to wake up from that dream of imagining that we're this or that or the other. And it really, that lecture, just listening to Prabhupada speak, it really pulls you out of that thing that you get so embroiled in that you're thinking, meditating on constantly. It pulls you out and shows you reality. So it's really, really nice excerpts. Thanks for sharing.
Like, I know we have our duties, and like, I feel like at some point we have to think of it like seriously and like be involved in it, because at the end we are doing it for Krishna. So how do we find like the balance in that?
We'll get to that. I have more to come. But thank you very much. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful excerpt. Along those lines, how dangerous this misidentification is. When I lived in Mexico City, there was an article about a kid during the Halloween. He got a costume of Superman or Spider-Man, but he was so like absorbed in the role that with the costume, everybody was kind of fanning that spark. It became such a fire that he went up to the roof. It was like 5, 6-year-old kid, and he just like believed that he's such a character, and just jumped, believing that he's gonna fly. But it wasn't fatal, but he survived. Very from early on, we believe in certain things.
Dreams. Talk about the dream. But there's a progression here. Prabhupada brings it out, and it's both also in the purport here. There's a progression that we, in our pure consciousness, we have nothing to do with the material body. What do we have? What is our connection? Our real connection is with Krishna. But at some point, as Prabhupada mentioned, that we wanted to enjoy like Krishna, like God. I want to be like this. And so it's not that we had to figure out on ourselves how to do that. Krishna himself helped us. He was the director. In the analogy, I really liked how sweetly Prabhupada just kind of went into his childhood life and told the story of his play, and then brings it back to the Siddhantic idea of we're not we are not the player. But it was very sweet how he weaved them together. But Krishna is the director. And as soon, if we were to actually come here with full knowledge that I am a servant of Krishna and I want to enjoy separately from Krishna, you can't do it. If we actually have that real realization or very solid realization, I'm servant of Krishna, we're saying it, and we're practicing, and we're trying to fully realize this understanding that I am a servant of Krishna, and that is the real relationship. But still, we're in that acting phase. And how did we get? We had an expert director who not only was great at direct, but he is the source, as Prabhupada quoted, Savarstrasaham Sadi Matasmitir Jnanamapavantam. Krishna says, I am the source of your forgetfulness. I'm the source of your remembrance. And I'm the source, he is the source of Aham Sarvasya Prabha. I am the source of everything. I am the source, as the purport began, I'm the source of the material energy and the modes. And the modes are the things that are sweeping us one way or another. And we're just getting caught up in this current. And Krishna's the source of it. He's the director. He's directing all this. And we get swept up in it. And the example of the actor, we're trying to act, and we're being given all the facility, all the great costumes, all the great backdrops, all the great CGI, everything is there, has been given to us. And then we think I am a king, I am this, I am that. And so that is, but then on the converse, He is also the source of remembrance. So that is the process, and we'll get into that. But just a little bit more on the dream part. This second part of the excerpt's a little shorter. It's coming.
There cannot be any relation at all. Not that it cannot stop the someone. Prabhupada with a very exact example is Prabhupada just like a man seeing being. Well, there is like and they're seeing his man. Another man is well, kind of way that time. But he, in the dream, is actually feeling the tiger as a cat. Therefore, this example, not Hate Artha Sambandha, there cannot be any meaning of this relation except like a man dreaming and he's creating a situation. He's dreaming there is a tiger and he's creating a situation, fearful situation. Actually, there's no cause of fear, there's no tiger. That situation is created by dream. Actually, there is no tiger. Similarly, we have created this material world and activity. People are running, identifying that, I'm the manager, I'm the owner, that. We have got these politics, they have to defeat the competition. All these things are created. Exactly like that. Sapna is saying, this guy, the man is creating these particular situations simply by dream.
So this is the key, that once we begin to recognize that there is no tiger, that, and this is the whole process of our bhakti yoga process. We're gradually identifying ourselves as a servant of Krishna, and we're performing service to Krishna. We're chanting his name. We're engaging in his service, and gradually we begin to make these realizations. And honestly, it takes a while. When we're young, when we dress up as Superman, we think we're Superman, and we're thinking, oh yeah. But as you start to get older and things start slowing down in the body, or if you start contracting different ailments, even at any age, you immediately think, my consciousness is still super active, but now I can't do anything. Remember, there was one very young devotee in Boston many years ago. She was just coming to Krishna consciousness, and she was very enthusiastic, but again, very young, just very new to Krishna consciousness, and she had gotten cancer. And it was a serious one, and she actually didn't last that long. But you could, from what I've heard from the devotees and seeing, her consciousness really changed quite quickly. When we're faced with them, when we're starting to see, this is just a dream. I'm still like, I'm a healthy person in my mind, or I'm very active, but now I can't jump anymore. And kirtan, my ankles hurt. It's like you can't, but in my mind, I think I want to jump still, or I want, and it's a dream, this connection with the body. It's like a dream we're creating, and it's such an expert director Krishna has created. He has created it. And what was it for? He wants to fulfill our desires. And even if that desire was, I want to enjoy separate from Krishna. So kind. He gives us. And we can't simultaneously be very, like, self-realized and at the same time enjoy materially in the body. It's impossible. So he helps us forget that. And so then we can enjoy. But then when we really, again and again and again, and this was the answer to your question, the practical, what do we practically do? There's, there's many advice of what to do. And later in this lecture, or maybe it was in the purport, it is understanding the real I. Right now, when we say I, just out of curiosity, how many people here are Americans? Yeah. See, you all fell into this trap. See, immediately you thought you were Americans, and it's just so ingrained in us. Even though we're hearing, I'm not this body, but immediately it's so much there. So we have to gradually understand who am I really, as who am I really? And Bhaktivinoda Thakur helps us with so many wonderful indications of this and prompting. But this one, and again, on this concept of I and mine, which again comes up again and again, Srimad Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj brings it up, Narada Muni, Yudhisthira Maharaj, Bhishma brings it up throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, this concept, because it is, and why did Prabhupada spend so many days on this verse, and why did he really want the devotees to learn this verse? Because saying this, he said, this is the, can you go back one slide? This is the very exact example is given, swapna darshan. That means we're in a dreaming state. It is just a misidentification. As the verse said, we are misidentified. Completely misidentified. We're making a mistake. So how do we gradually come back to that? So then we change the concept of I. I am an American, I am a man, I am a woman, I am this, I am that. Okay, well, yes, we can repeat, I am a servant of Krishna, I am a servant of God. But as we start practicing in that mood, he gives us some ideas of how to change that. First, he sings a song that, everything that I consider mine is now yours, Krishna. Manasa Deha, my mind, even my body, my house, my kriya, everything is yours. So he goes onto that path. But then he specifically addresses this I, aham mameti, aham mama sabda arte. Some of the same words in the verse. All that there is may be indicated by the words aham and mama. So everything that we can indicate everything in relation to us as it has something to do with me or it is mine. He's acknowledging this. And then he says, okay, I offer them at your lotus feet. He's not absolutely at this moment giving up the conception of I and mine, but he's now using it, and I am now going to everything that is mine. He's still saying mine, but now it is yours. Still conceiving as yours. And so does that mean, okay, now we can just, now I don't have to worry about putting gas in the car or doing the oil change. I just, everything. No, now there's responsibility in that. I am no longer, here's another stage. This is a very advanced stage. I no longer consider even myself to be mine. Wow. That's a really high. Oh Nata, oh Lord. Now I've become exclusively yours. So not only all the things that are around me that I consider mine, and now even I I am yours. I'm not even mine anymore. The soul inhabiting this mortal body has given up the false ego attached to the word I. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to. Our false ego is that driving, is that conception of method acting, that I am this body, I'm American, I'm this, I'm that, and therefore I have all these things. Now here's the key, because again, this could turn into quite irresponsible. How do we still be responsible in the world or in our activities? All my possessions, so he's still saying these are my possessions, even though he just said they're all yours. All my possessions, body, home, servants, brothers, friends, wife, sons, personal belongings, fencing, gateways, all of these things are now yours, for I have become your eternal servant, but I am a mere occupant in your house. You are the owner of the house, and I am your most obedient servant. My only activity is now endeavoring for your happiness. So if we understand, this is like such a key verse, Tomara Sukate Ekona Amar, that my endeavor now, my only endeavor now is to bring you happiness. So if Nanda's computer was hers and I knew it was hers and I just took it and I just started messing around with it, she's not going to be happy. Even though I may say that it's yours, it's your computer. Or let's say I gave it, no longer mine, it's yours, but then I start breaking it. That's not respect to her things. When we actually, it's not that we become more detached from the things that we have in possessions or things. If we say we give it to Krishna, now I'm detached, I don't have to deal. No, now you become more. Because for your happiness, my endeavor, Tomara Sukhate, I want my endeavor is that your happiness is fulfilled. And so what is Krishna's happiness? Is that we are all coming back to his lotus feet, and we're engaging others to come back to him, and we're using everything in his service. This is Krishna's sukha, this is Krishna's happiness. Whatever pious or impious activities that were performed by me, either with my gross or subtle bodies, either just my thinking, impious or pious. Even those are no longer mine, O Lord. I am redeemed. This is our redemption. This is the path of redemption. How to get out of this dream state, how to wake up. How do we wake up? My will, so this means it's on us. It's not that it's gonna come from another source. We have to endeavor. We have to make this endeavor. My will has become merged with your will. This is real oneness. This is merging. I want everything that I want it to be what you want. From this day forward, Bhaktivinoda has completely forgotten himself. So again, these are very elevated, but this is it may help us kind of, okay, let's plot a path for myself. At least this is the path I want to continue on. How can I get, I no longer, Krishna, I no longer want to just be under the influence of the material modes and your forgetfulness, Shakti, that is making me, seemingly want to enjoy. I know I wanted that, and I know you really helped me in that, or helped me try to get into it. But now I'm asking you, now let my will go with your will. Please now give me the remembrance of you. Let me re-engage in this relationship, this real relationship, not the relationship of impure consciousness, but this pure soul and pure consciousness has nothing to do with the body. We all have only a relationship with Krishna. So we can end here. We're at the end of time. Any quick questions? Yes. Kartikeya.
Rainbow.
Hare
Wow,
Krishna.
it's loud. Yeah, so I'm thinking sometimes in life, it seems like desire that we may have can just come so easily and everything is in place. And but then I guess my question is, how do we know that that's not just, I don't know, us being excited to enjoy, and the difference between that and saying, okay, actually, this is what Krishna has arranged for me, and like this is his will, because there's a path of less resistance, let's say.
Yeah, we have to, we're all in different stages of life, and we're all progressing, we're wanting to go very carefully, very in a progressive way towards Krishna. And so yes, even Prabhupada said that, we in our dream we're a worker, or we're a factory worker, or we're a manager or something. He's not saying we give those up, but we give the conception up that I am a worker for I and me, mine, but no, now I'm a worker, and it will be for Krishna. So that is, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita throughout gives us indications of how to engage our work for him, how to engage our mind and body, how to engage our meditation in him. He's giving us so many different ideas of how to engage in his service. So when something comes, what was Prabhupada's? He would say, well, then we use it for Krishna. He never said, uh, no, don't give me money, don't give. No, he said, give me money, and I will use it for Krishna's service. But then, yeah, we have certain desires, and we're struggling on different stages of life where we're at, and he may give us facilities, but then we should always be very thankful for that, and that sometimes is that just little change of consciousness. It's a conscious endeavor. It's not that, because what is the immediate thing? I have all these things. Oh, I've done that. This. No, if you think, oh, but this is all given by Krishna. This was Sudam Brahma's his medit. He had nothing, and then all of a sudden he had everything, and Shukadev specifically says he never thought that this was his. He always thought, this is for my wonderful blue friend Krishna. So if we're always thinking like, it's not that Sudam continued to live in the backyard and let his wife live in. No, he lived in the palace. He lived there, but this is for my friend Krishna. He's given it. So that it's just a change of consciousness. Right?
Okay, can you kind of correct my thinking? Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm taking care of myself for Krishna. I'm eating this donut, and it makes me feel good, so therefore it makes Krishna feel kind of good, because he likes to see me happy.
Is the donut prasadam? Good answer. But why is it prasadam for you? Like, if you want to enjoy a donut right now, where would you go to get your donut?
Nowhere. There's nowhere. But the food wasn't an example. It's just sometimes, yeah. So it's taking care of ourselves, taking care of like Krishna's vessel, or like.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a conscious. Sometimes we're thinking, well, I'm just, we take care of just the same example that, once we believe everything that is in relationship with me and mine is Krishna's, then it doesn't mean we no longer take care of it. It actually means we take care of it better. So yeah, we have to be very careful with what we eat or what we acquire, and making sure that it's always healthy for us, either healthy, nutritionally, or healthy mentally, or healthy sensually. All these things have to be very healthy for us. And those things that are unhealthy, then We don't take it because it's for Krishna, because we're thinking, oh, my friend Krishna, this is Krishna's body. How do I use it? Of course, in 10 minutes, we're all going to be thinking, oh, what's for prasada? What's for breakfast this morning? And that's okay. It's prasadam. So we're gradually getting there. But that's the consciousness. And yeah, it is very difficult to be constantly in that consciousness of sometimes, always putting things in its place. But as we get practice, they become very natural to you. And that's why we practice. It's not that it's a 3-month program or you get a mantra and you chant it and then you're done. No, it's a gradual process. And as we start purifying the senses, that begins, Sevan Mukhi Jivada, it begins with the tongue. Begins with the tongue by eating Krishna Prasad and by chanting Krishna's name. That's the very beginning. So, because that's such a natural thing, every day we eat. It's not like, okay, now I ate, now I'm done eating. Because, I've eaten, I'm full. Now I don't ever have to eat. No, you have to eat again. But every time there's the opportunity, am I eating for me? Am I eating for the body? These are little chances that we can increase our consciousness. Okay, we're done. Okay, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Where's those donuts?